Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to yield 3 minutes at this time to the ranking member of the Natural Resources Committee, Peter DeFazio from Oregon.
The gentleman from Oregon is recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank the gentleman. You know, this irresponsible, unnecessary, politically motivated government shutdown is unacceptable for all Americans, but it's particularly offensive to those in Indian country. The government's trust obligation to the tribes is not a discretionary act. It's a fiduciary responsibility. To assume that money associated with that fiduciary responsibility can be bartered or used as a political football is more than insulting. It's another example here of tabloid legislating, ripping issues from the headlines and trying to legislate based on negative public reaction to just some part of the Republican government shutdown. It's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole, where an issue pops up, the far right pretends to care, suddenly, gee, we didn't know this would happen if we shut down the government, and they draft a continuing resolution to cover it, or their posteriors. Now, where was all of this concern for the tribes when sequestration kicked in? Where's the compassion for the poverty faced by our first Americans every day, not just when it's politically expedient? Where is the compassion been to address the high rates of unemployment, educational challenges, access to resources tribal people face every day? Challenges that have only been made worse by the Republican sequester. This is so cynical. Not only does the temporary measure for tribes inadequately fund few programs that identifies, that picks and chooses, it neglects other critical programs inside and outside the Department of Interior. What about the Office of Special Trustee? We haven't done so well as trustees of the monies of the Indian nations recently. We need the Office of Special Trustee. Oh, closed. What about the Bureau of Reclamation Office for dispersing settlements for Indian water rights? Closed. How about the Native American Low-Income Home Energy Assistance? Closed. Tribal nutrition programs? Closed. Even if this bill passed and became law, those would all still be closed. I guess, their compassion only goes so far. There are many other things missing from this bill. I could go on and on. Already, sequestration has disproportionately impacted Indian country. We don't need to rub salt in the wound with this continuing resolution that provides only 1/3 of the funding for these nations. The irresponsible tactics need to cease. We need to open up our government to the first Americans and all Americans. It's simple. We offered unanimous consent requests last Saturday when the Republicans adjourned in a huff and went off for a couple of days while the government was shut down. Any one of those acceded to could have brought a vote on a 6-week continuation of government at the Republican levels of funding with sequestration. That's a concession on the part of Democrats. It's your budget, those lower numbers, the Ryan budget. You could have done that. You wouldn't do it. You changed the rules of the House so we couldn't bring it up as a privileged resolution, and then you pretend to care. Come on, guys. You can do better than that.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Idaho is recognized.
I reserve